For startups hiring engineers and engineers looking to join them, this podcast is for you.
Welcome to Your Next Tech Startup. This is a now hiring episode. We are talking about a U.S. remote senior founding engineer role at New Harbor with the founders, Giuseppe and Jonathan. Welcome.
Thanks, Isabel. It's great to be here with you. I'm the CTO of New Harbor and Jonathan's the CEO. We started New Harbor to help small and medium organizations and nonprofits really get solid, good baseline security in place. I had the personal experience of seeing just how frustrating it would be to do the basics of cybersecurity right in a time when it's really, really important, when I was actually in a nonprofit. And so we set out to actually change that paradigm and really create a user-first, great experience type of cybersecurity product that kind of handles it for organizations that don't necessarily have security teams in-house. And so we're excited to be with you today, looking to expand our team with an additional engineer. And Jonathan, do you want to share a bit more?
Yeah, I mean, like Giuseppe said, we started New Harbor really based on his personal experience dealing with the challenges of managing security for small and growing teams. My background, I was at Google for 6 years, building consumer hardware products such as their Daydream View VR headset and the Google Pixel smartwatch. And what we wanted to do is really bring a consumer mindset to security. If you look at the products that exist today, they're complicated, they're hard to use, and we really wanted to make a product that is simple, that is intuitive, and so we're really trying to bring that consumer mindset to the industry of cybersecurity.
And if you think about how easy it was to actually buy cybersecurity in the past, you used to be able to even walk into a Best Buy and just buy cybersecurity, buy Norton antivirus off the shelf. The product doesn't look the same these days, but the experience should be that simple. It should be as simple as being able to say, I want to take action to protect myself, I want to get it. And that's the goal we've set out to meet.
And talk a little about what's going on with the business that now is the right time to make this hire.
Yeah, I mean, so we have bootstrapped to date, and that was really a conscious decision. We were fortunate to have customers early on who wanted what we were building. But more than that, we wanted to make sure we had the time to really figure out product market fit before we start scaling. And so the last few years has really been working hand in hand with our customers, we call them design partners, to really refine the product according to their needs. And we're now at this phase where revenue has been growing 3x a year. We're seeing demand for our product. People are asking us for it. And so we really now is the time to start growing the team. Giuseppe, I think you had some thoughts on this too.
Yeah, there are these amazing moments when we would call organizations, nonprofits, other organizations for advice and just ask them for advice. And the call kind of paused. I remember a specific one, a couple minutes in, it said, oh, wait. I will give you the advice, but I actually need what you're building. And that was kind of a light bulb moment for us where we started talking about what the actual pain point was in the right way, that it was resonating to the point where folks were actually signing up on a call where we called them for advice. And so we've taken all of that and bundled it. And now we're super excited because we have the basics, which we already have a product. We've launched to customers. It's doing well. But there's so much more that we can do. And we need to be able to bring on the right talent who's energized by this problem with us to keep growing and moving faster.
That's amazing. So technically, what is it that this senior engineer needs to have already mastered?
Yeah, so we're building a modern web app for cybersecurity. It's integrating with a ton of APIs, but we also have kind of a Chrome extension in the background. You don't necessarily had to have experience kind of building Chrome extensions, but excitement in that area is helpful. What we are looking for is folks who have been able to code in, our stack is Nuxt, which is built on, it's a framework on top of Vue. If you've dealt with React or Next, you'd be able to pick it up really quickly. On top of that, we have a Postgres database using Supabase, so pretty modern stack there. And most of our compute is running on Cloudflare workers. And so a variety of modern frameworks and modern stack. And so being able to thrive in that right away is really important. Like I said, there's cases where you didn't necessarily have to use all of the specific pieces, but something that's kind of similar is important.
And any nice to haves as far as when you're thinking about candidates?
Yeah, I think the big piece kind of comes back to this interest. We're using a lot of neat applications of AI and browser automation. And so both an interest, but also if you've had experience working in those spaces, it'll give you kind of an ability to kind of hit the ground running and participate in unique ways and plug into some of the existing efforts really quickly. So I think those are, like I said, nice to have. the right candidate kind of will have the foundation, doesn't necessarily have to have all those things. But if they do, please do highlight that in the application.
And, one of the things, this is a US remote role, but you are going to be meeting quarterly in person to help like build your culture. And tell me about why that's important.
Yeah, I mean, really, we encourage in-person meetups to build a shared understanding and trust among one another. When we meet, we grab dinner together, we discuss the goals of the company over the next 3 to 6 months. And the reason we do this is to get a shared understanding of what we're building and why, so that when we return to our respective locations, we can operate independently and know and make decisions on a day-to-day basis without needing to check in with one another all the time. That isn't to say that we're not always collaborating, but it is really, I think, important for all of us as a small team to really understand what we're doing and why we're doing it so that we can make the right decisions on a regular basis.
Yeah. And also like over meals, you get to know each other as people more. And I think
Exactly.
building that trust and connection in those ways is really nice. So is not having to commute every day. So, okay, last thing that I wanted to talk about is, when you are thinking about who's going to be the right person to join the team, a resume only tells so much about a person. And so what is something that each of you would like to know more about this person who's going to be joining your team?
Yeah, I can go first. A big foundational part of our company is making cybersecurity accessible and user-friendly. And the implication for that for us is that we have to constantly make trade-offs between like what is perfect security and what is a good user experience and focusing on the usability. And those two things are sometimes in conflict, not always, but oftentimes we're having to make trade-offs. And so when I'm talking to a candidate, I really want to understand their perspective on that. How would they understand making that trade-off? So that we can make sure we're delivering the right experience, even if we can't deliver on either end perfectly.
Yeah, and for me, the question I always like to ask is, why do you want to work at an early stage startup? Because the experience is very different than companies at other growth stages, right? Like I've been fortunate to work at large companies, small companies, startups. And, when you're at a large company, your role is more defined. There's less variability day to day. And, you're assigned a feature and you're building that feature. When you're at an early stage startup, there's a lot of change. You're responsible for building a feature one day, fixing a bug the other day. There may be changes in direction every now and then. And you're not necessarily designing for scale as much as you are making sure that features get shipped on a faster cadence. And so, one of the things I like to ask is, is that an environment that's a good fit for you and why? And I think it's an important thing to keep in mind when you're considering this role.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I think a unique part about like our startup in particular is we are a cybersecurity startup, and so you have to be able to do all the startup things, but you also have to pay a bit more attention to some of the things that you would do more at a scaled organization around security and reliability. And so that is a unique part of this role. Is we're in a startup environment, we can move fast. But we have to stay true and make sure we focus on the security aspects and make sure we deliver on that promise above all else.
And I'll throw in one as well, since I'm helping you explore which candidates are going to be a good fit. I'm looking at resumes and wondering, has this person volunteered? Are they connected to nonprofits? What is it, that is going to make this work meaningful for them that they'd want to be on the team long term? I always say, you should be drinking the Kool-Aid, which comes from a horrible example. But I think you really need to be excited about the mission when you're part of an early stage startup. Being able to work every day with the founders is amazing. But if you don't see the vision in a way that they see it, then it's maybe not going to be meaningful and impactful and not the right fit.
Yeah, completely. I mean, we are really fortunate that we get to work alongside so many nonprofits. I mean, we talk to them, we see them. Cybersecurity is such an important part of running an organization and protecting that organization, but is often not the core part of the mission. And so we're able to actually do what we do well and support these organizations and support them in actually spending time and focusing on whatever their mission is. And it's great to be able to see the impact that they're having and how we're able to contribute to all of these organizations.
Yes. So if anyone who's been watching this, thank you for watching. I thank you both for being on the show. And I know we all love show notes, so check out the show notes to find out more about how you can connect with the team. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks for having us.